Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Larry Bodenheimer and today we're taking a look at NovaSentinel. Now, NovaSentinel is a 32-bit Trojan which affects modern Windows operating systems, and in this case, once you run the malware, it does not care if you figure out that you're running malware. If you figure it out and try to remove it, okay, and when did I ask? You can't unsteal your data. But because it doesn't try to hide itself at all, we get to see pretty much everything that it does just in dynamic analysis. And what it does is nothing short of just awful. So first we're going to take a look at it in VirusTotal. As you can see, we have 25 out of 65 detections. And if we come down to details, we can see that it was first submitted over 2.5 years ago. Well, almost 2.5 years ago. So the fact that it has 25 out of 65 detections is awful, and I did just reanalyze this. Now, the reason that I think it has such few detections is because this is probably custom malware that didn't have a large audience. So probably not many people got infected with it, ergo not many people reported it, and it wasn't scanned enough to really be picked up on. Also, this is 70 megabytes. Now, the size doesn't really matter as much as it used to, but what used to happen is that people would overly inflate their programs so that modern AVs would just say it's not worth the effort, we're not even going to try to scan this before it runs. In modern day, that rarely happens. However, as you can see, it is causing Bitdefender and a few other AVs to actually time out, but the vast majority of them are still scanning it. So your tags for this video are portable executable, long sleeps, detect debug environment, overlay, calls WMI, checks user input, and persistence. It is a size of 70 megabytes, so not huge. Last analyzed 1 minute ago, yours truly. And the popular threat label on this one is Trojan.Malicord/Agent B. Now, I don't know if that's just a case of them giving it a different name than the malware author wants, because the malware author themselves does call it I forgot. Neon Sentinel? Nova Sentinel? Nova Sentinel. Thank you, brain. But it's probably just the case of they're not giving it the right name. I doubt that all of these AV companies are just giving it the wrong detection. But if we come through here, the major AVs that are detecting it is Avast, AVG, Avira, BCAF Pro. What else have we got? MCSoft, ESET. We've got GData, Google, McAfee has a detection for it. Kaspersky does as well. Symantec, Sophos, and that's it. All of your other big names are not picking up on this, so we'll quickly go through the list. The ClamAV is a big name. CrowdStrike Falcon, Malwarebytes, and Microsoft. Wow, okay, the fact that Microsoft doesn't have one when it's this old is, okay. But if we keep going, what else we got here? What else? That seems to be about it. Obviously, WebRoot doesn't have a detection. Why would they? But really, the big names are Malwarebytes and Microsoft. I'm not seeing any other big names. But that's obviously horrible. So pretty good for the malware writer. Pretty bad for us. If we go to details, your MD5, SHA-1, and SHA-256 are right here. Now, if you want to follow along and you're new to the channel, this will also be in the comment section, so you don't have to type it manually. And creation time was 2018. I very highly doubt that. First submission was November 16th of 2023, and last submission was just a few minutes ago by me. If we go to relations, we can see it has one contacted URL, which is just google.com. Contacted domains 7, api.gofile.io, DNS, GitHub, ipinfo.io, perfect, and then GitHub again and Google. 18 contacted IP addresses, however only one of them shows up as malicious and it's a US IP address. However, you can also see we're communicating with Germany and France, which is rare. 4 bundled files, however they all come back clean. 87 dropped files. One of them is epsilonworld.exe, which has 1 detection. So do with that as you will. It also drops a Win32 DLL, which has 25 detections. Okay. I don't think I've ever seen a DLL with that many detections. We do also have a SQLite 3 node with the detection. Or at least that's what it's called. It's just a DLL. And if we keep going, we have a PowerShell script with 3 detections. And that's all. Everything else is clean. Again, I don't spend much time on behavior on this channel, but if you want to follow along without following along, here's your chance to look for yourself. And as you can see, this has quite a few detections. So we have 2 sandbox detections. Zenbox gives it all that. And adware? Okay. And VMray gives it malware. Now, I'm not going to read through every single one of these, but you can already see some bad shit. We have 1 critical, 3 high, 19 medium, and 3 low crowdsourced Sigma rules. I'll slowly scroll through this so that you guys can see in case you don't want to follow along on your own. And we have 4 medium and 4 low crowdsourced IDS rules. There's only 5 rules. Okay, 2 medium and 3 low. I don't know why it's worded like that. And last but not least, if we go to community, we can see VMray posted here, Nucleon Security posted here, and Joe Security posted here, and they did actually give it the threat name of NovaSentinel. We'll go ahead and minimize this. We will take a look at the properties for this file. So we go to details, we have useful application. We come down here, the product name is epsilon-world, copyright 2023 Kareem. So probably in Western Europe, if I had to guess, considering this is also communicating with Germany and France. And language is English, United States. Last but not least, we'll show the tools that we'll be using to analyze this. We have System Informer, good to go. Wireshark, good to go. I'll move it over here as well. Zooey, and Process Monitor. Now that we've shown all of that, let's go ahead and run some malware. Do you want to allow this app from an unknown publisher to make changes to your device? Sure I do. So we click yes, and immediately there is significant slowdown on the computer. And if we keep an eye over here, we're seeing a bunch of Epsilon worlds open, and then a bunch of command prompts and things like that. And the computer immediately just starts tweaking. And you've also got cscript.exe. However, it does seem to have actually errored out as we get this error code. Or maybe this is a fake error code. Now that I'm reading this, it probably is fake. So we got error code 43 in the title bar, and then error, application can't run on this computer, error 741. I would say that this is probably just randomly generated error codes, but I know for a fact this is the same title code, or the taskbar code. Don't know about the body, but this is definitely the same. So we'll click OK. And it looks like everything is closed. However, we've still got 4 instances of the malware running in the background. So that's not good. But it's done everything that we're going to see on System Informer. I will keep it open, obviously, just in case. But we also have some stuff going on in the VM. So we're communicating, obviously, the VM in Wireshark. We're sending a lot of packets back and forth from a 140.82.114.4. And I'm not seeing much else besides that. I do believe this is stuff like this is a red herring. The 94.139 may be something we'll want to keep in mind, but everything else looks okay. We're going to leave this running, and then we're going to open Process Monitor. And we're going to do 2 filters. The first filter that we're going to do is epsilon, not typing a lot. And as you can see, we have epsilon setup and epsilon world.exe. Let me just make sure I grab the right one. So we have epsilon setup, and this is epsilon world. Somehow I didn't even notice that. Anyway, so we'll go ahead and we will do epsilon setup first. So go to process name, epsilon setup. And then we're going to do operation is create file. So we'll go ahead and apply that. And as you can see, we have a little over 1,100 events. So we're not going to have to scroll through too much before we see something that's been shown on the channel 1,000 billion majillion times. If you're familiar with the channel, you probably already guess what it is. However, after that, things get vile. So if we come down here, we see a bunch of DLLs we've already seen on the channel before: NT-MARTA, version, sh folder, sh core. Who cares, right? We do have a temp file. However, if we try to access it, it's not actually on the system anymore. You know, this may actually be a folder instead of a file, but if we try to jump to any of them, they're... Oh, this one's here. Interesting. Okay, we'll come back to that. If we keep going, we've got a system.dll. Okay, we'll go ahead and jump to that, and we'll minimize it. And then if we keep coming down here, we've got another temp thing. That's probably a directory. And if I had to guess, no, that's there as well. Okay, and this has a copy of the malware as well as some .paks and text files and other junk. So we'll minimize that as well. And here we've got a bunch of .dlls. So not very interesting. And then we see some things like license electron, license chromium, chrome 100%, which we saw in the folder. We'll go back to that. We have some language packs as well. Not really much to see there. Now here is something that we're going to come back to. Node modules take cam. So we'll come back to that. And now we can see we've got epsilon world.exe in a 7z-out folder, which was part of that temp folder, which is now confirmed to be a folder. That's no longer there. But we'll come back to that. Now we have something called prey webcam.exe. So we will open this. So we'll come back to that. And now we have elevate.exe. You can probably guess what elevate.exe does. If we keep going, what else have we got around here? What else? It shouldn't take too much longer. We got a Vulkan-1.dll that is custom for the malware, I'm sure. We got those language packs again. Okay, so we'll move past that. I don't see it. Okay, that's really interesting. So what we were supposed to have seen already is just the sample thing that LumaStealer looks through, all of those browsers. But I'm not seeing it this time. Yeah, it's just another case of malware never doing what you want it to do in the video. And then we've got that take cam being shown again. This will be relevant later. And then we've got some desktop.inis being dropped in pretty much every folder in the user directory. We'll come back to that. Or maybe we won't. We've seen that a bajillion times as well. And now we've reached the end. I'm not sure why that Luma payload's not in here, but we've all seen Luma before. Who cares? So next, we are going to do a neofilter. And we'll come back to those folders in a second. So now we're going to do epsilon world.exe. Okay, apparently control backspace doesn't work. Add and apply. And we can go ahead and pause the process capture after this because it's done everything it's going to. So we'll go ahead and pause that, and now we will look through here. So we've got winspool.driver. Okay, interesting. Very good start. And then we see those same DLLs. So we're going to skip past that. Now, a lot of this we're going to skip past because it's nothing interesting, but there will be quite a few things for us to look at. So we've got a script folder in roaming. Is this still here? It is. We also have a VBS script, which I did not see in testing. If we edit this, set... Aha! Indeed. So, now we have proof that that message that we got about the error was actually just a fake message. So in most, we're not in most cases, for the vast majority of this, it doesn't care whether you figure out that it's malware or not. So the fact that it did something that most malware won't do these days and gave you a fake error code, even though it's just VBS for an object shell, okay, fair enough. If we go to the script folder, we've got a file called local state. I'm sure if we try to open it, it's going to be a bunch of gibberish. Oh no, here we go. OS crypt encrypted key. So we have a key here. Interesting. I'm going to close that and leave that alone. If we keep going, we should see new stuff. We now see that the hosts directory has at least been accessed, but probably modified as well. Or sorry, the host file. Now, if we open this up, it doesn't actually look like it's changed anything. But just the fact that it opened it at all is pretty bad. Now, keep in mind, you may have seen this, and you may not have, but keep in mind one of those, get out of here. One of those crowdsourced Sigma alerts. So we're calling the file again in a temp directory. Okay, we've got a .mun here for system resources. And now we start to see weird things. So we got a d65.camp. And if I open that, we can't open that. Fair enough. We've also got a photo.gmmp, RGB color space profile.icm. Okay, I should have known we wouldn't be able to open that. But if we keep going, I keep saying if we keep going because I really thought we would have seen it by now. There's Epsilon World again. Okay, this is a bunch of DLLs we've seen on the channel before, so we can move further down. It's calling that folder again, which is, yeah, it's this one. And we've got node resources. And then it's accessing command prompt directly, which is great. And now you've got a temp folder called usnovalarry.zip. And it's called that because that's my name. Of course, I have that set as a name on the VM, so, I mean, it's not like it did a great job of doxing me or anything, but now if we extract this, where the hell did it go? Hello? Okay, we're going to do this a different way. So we're going to extract files, and then we're going to go to the desktop. So, desktop, okay. And then if we... It's not doing it. Oh, might help if I click OK. There we go. We've got logs, social, and system. We'll come back to that. And as you can see, Discord was in that folder. But if we come back here, we got command prompt again, command prompt, Windows driver setup.exe. Nice. And now we've got update.exe in the startup directory, which I'm sure surprises nobody that it's twice the file size. It's obviously the same malware, but the fact that it is so inflated is odd. Anyway, we'll keep going. What else have we got around here? Please do the thing that I was looking for. It's not going to show it. It's not going to show it at all. It's now calling PowerShell.exe. And then PowerShell.exe.exe. Yo, dog, I heard you like EXEs, so I put more EXEs in your EXEs so that you could have all the EXEs. It's in... Okay, apparently it was done by the other file. Here is the Luma payload. In this case, it was done by... Come on, brain. It was done by Epsilon World instead of Epsilon Setup. It was definitely Setup last time, but that's fine. And as you can see, it looks like Luma. And it probably is Luma. But it's also been heavily modified in the fact that not only does it look for a bunch of Microsoft Edge data, it looks for a bunch of Opera software data and then Yandex browser data. And then it starts looking for games and apps, but only a few. Nation's Glory? Pretty sure I heard of that. I think it's like a grand strategy game. Growtopia, I've never heard of that. Minecraft, no, I've never heard of that. Skype for desktop. Element, Signal, and these are like secret messaging services. ICQ, and then you've got your FTP stuff. So FileZilla, OpenVPN Connect, Shadow, Gisler, and then it's looking for a Lunar Client, which is a Minecraft client. Feather, and I'm assuming Feather is also Minecraft because obviously Minecraft is, and T-Launcher is a Minecraft launcher used for cracked accounts. Now over here we've got error.nova in a logs folder. So if I decide to open this up in Notepad, cannot read properties of null, reading length, cannot read properties of undefined, reading includes. Error browsers 1. Okay. Fair enough. So like I said, it does nothing to hide any of this. And it's doing that same check again. Okay. Where's the thing that I was looking for? Malware. It was there before. There it is. You see it? Passwords.txt. But that's not all. So if we jump to passwords.txt, it's gone. Oh, crap. Okay. Maybe that's not the right one. Oh, regex is great. I've been reminded that regex exists. Day ruined. And it's looking for a bunch of Microsoft Edge stuff again. Okay, here we go. This is it, I think. Yep, this is the right one. Okay. I guess I didn't even notice that one in testing. So we've got some text files here. Just a few. So we've got antivirus.txt, and here you have the moniker, NovaSentinel. Boo! Ah! Shit! Oh my god, that scared the fuck out of me. Anyway, we've got this nice little ASCII of what looks like a mix of a gnome and a ghost. I'm sure that they only meant it to be a ghost, but it's a gnome ghost now. Their Telegram is here. Don't message them on Telegram. And we've got information about the antivirus. So the product GUID, the name, Windows Defender, real-time protection status unknown because it's been disabled through group policy, the computer name, which is correct, the product executable, the reporting exe, which is correct, and then definition status unknown because it is disabled. We've also got clipboard. Yippee! And, okay. That is indeed something that I copied on the virtual machine before I ran this malware. This may be an unintentional Easter egg for a future video, actually. If you know, you know. So there's the ghost again, NovaSentinel, done in little ASCII art. Very nice. And then you've got a screenshot of the desktop, which I'm sure surprises everybody. Then we've got system info. And this do be system info. So we've got the UUID, the IP address, the Windows key. That is a Windows key. And yeah, I probably shouldn't show that. Don't steal that. Windows version, host name, and then the username. This is Microsoft Windows 10 Pro. File location. I'm assuming that's a file location for this folder? No. What is that for? Okay, wait. I kind of want to see what's in there now. So if I copy that and do like, I don't know, let's just open literally any of these. Not that one, because we'll come back to that. This one will be fine. If we go here, what's in here? Oh, it's the same freaking folder that we've got. That's where it saved the malware to. Okay. That is the correct CPU. For some reason, it shows CPU twice. CPU core undefined, GPU's VMware SVGA 3D. Okay-ish amount of RAM. I mean, it has 8192 megs, but alright. Applications installed, 7-zip, Mozilla Maintenance Service, System Informer, and then Microsoft Update and Visual C stuff, VMware Tools, and update for x64 based Windows systems. So it either has no debug whatsoever, or it just doesn't care. It could be either one, honestly. And then Wi-Fi passwords. Now, we're not going to see any Wi-Fi passwords because this is hooked up directly through a locked down virtual network. But there you go. It's, for some reason, modifying the hosts folder again a bajillion times, or file. I don't know why I keep saying folder. And that's pretty much it. We've seen all of the interesting stuff. So now that we've looked through all of this, there is some couple things to take a look at in the folders, and then I'm going to learn you a bit. So if we come over here, I am interested in just cracking open this DLL really quick. So if I go to Notepad, you do not have permission to open this file. Oh, we'll see about that. I said we'll see about that. We go to Properties, Details. I'm doing this wrong. Advanced. I'm still doing this wrong. What? Here we go. Advanced. Everyone. Change permissions. View. Show advanced permissions. Huh, I can't actually modify it. Okay. Let's see if I can just do it the old-fashioned way. Oh, okay. Well, you just do that. Now can I open this? Indeed. It is obviously just a bunch of gibberish, but if we open this program cannot be run in DOS mode. Is there any human-readable stuff in here? It may not even be in English, but as long as it's not just this. We do have quotes, but it's probably just random. I'm not seeing anything readable. Oh, here we go. Global allocation, global free, global size, string copy. That do be programming stuff, and that's really all we get. So no point in even looking at the other one, or the other two, because we're not going to get anything out of it. That's a thing for static analysis, which again, I may do a live stream for. Now if we take a look over here, let's look at license.electron. Permission is hereby granted free of charge to any person obtaining a copy of the software and associated document files, the software, to deal in the software without restriction, including without limitation. Okay, I'm not reading all that. You read it if you want to. I've read enough. My brain already hurts. Then we've got the Vulkan 1.dll. I'm not even going to try to open that. I felt like there was something else. We've got a .html. And if we open this, we got credits here. Okay, fair enough. That's all that's over here. And then we've got TakeCam. So now I have not run either of these yet. And I don't know how they work. But I will say that I did look them up. And unfortunately, it's exactly what it sounds like. One of them records your desktop. The other one records your webcam. Yeah. Now, I don't have a webcam connected to this computer, not just the virtual machine, but the computer in general. If I run these, Windows cannot access the specified device, path, or file. You may not have appropriate permissions to access the item. How interesting. I've decided that I want permission to access the file. Okay, it doesn't even work. It takes way too long to download .NET Framework. What about Snapshot? Oh, for God's sake. You know what? Maybe I need to do that with the whole folder. So let's go back to node modules. Properties, security, edit. My fellow Americans, we must assign full control to everyone. Okay, so Snapshot works. Or at least I have reason to believe that it does. But I don't know where it's saving these to. There is one way to find out. So if I clear this, because we're done with it. We've seen everything we're going to. We are now going to start a new one. And I'm going to run this just a few times. And we're going to add a filter for it. Process name is snapshot.exe. And it looks like this is going to end up being a longer video, so I hope you guys enjoy that. So, this is... It may not be taking a snapshot of your desktop, but a snapshot of your computer and everything installed on it. That's great. No, that's good. And that's exactly what I wanted to see. Very good. Okay, and then Prey webcam is just not going to work. Fair enough. And what other folders do we have? We've got the script. Did we open this already? I can't remember. Yeah, that's the encrypted key, so we don't need that. And then temp. We can just scroll through temp really quick and see if anything catches our eye, like this. So we got error.nova in logs, and then in system, that's the system stuff, and then in social, we have Discord. I am going to very quickly turn that off because Discord is not installed on the VM. And the fact that only Discord is in here and nothing else. Okay, there's nothing in here. I panicked for nothing. There's nothing here. So, had me freaked out, and the reason is I thought there would be more than just Discord in here, but I guess they never got around to adding anything else. Fair enough. And that's really going to be it. So, last thing we'll do before we restart, we will stop the packet capture. We will save this as 1.pcapng. We'll run it through Zooey, and then once this is done, we will restart the computer. I have to talk German sometimes. I have a German last name. If you've looked at the channel name, that should be no shock to you. But yeah, this is very interesting malware. You also notice that it closed Firefox. Either it did or I did, but it did close the browser in testing as well. Doesn't modify it. You can still run VirusTotal. Okay, well, I'm trying to go to the home page to show this, not just like a frozen page. Yeah, see? Got VirusTotal, and we saw the hosts file, so, I mean, you know, it didn't do anything to modify any of that. I guess when it went to go get your Firefox information, it closed the browser once it was done. It happens. And crazier things than that have happened and will continue to happen. Now, what's interesting to me is that this is taking an unusually long amount of time. Okay, there we go. We'll go ahead and put this in full screen. We have 620 rows, so we can take our time with it. We have a bunch of weirds. Okay, a truncated header. Let's look at the alerts. App layer, wrong direction. Is it literally just suricata? Okay, it is just suricata. We'll look at a few of these just to make sure that it's not anything like an IP info thing, because there's typically ralert3, and I saw something like that in VirusTotal. But yeah, it looks like not much is going to be visible to the naked eye, which is unfathomable to me, considering it had so many crowdsourced Sigma rules. Although this wouldn't be for Sigma, this would be for IDS. But it did have some of those too. Here we go. So we got alert 3, ET info file sharing related domain, gofile.io. And then we've got, it's the same thing, it's still just gofile.io. Okay. I don't know why one's alert 3 and one's alert 2. Observed in SNI. Alright. Is it all just going to be go or ipinfo.io? Yep. Looks like that's all. No alert ones that are just saying C2 activity detected or anything like that. So, there you have it. Last thing we're going to do is restart the computer and see if this has persistence. However, in this case, we've pretty much seen that it will. but I'm going to restart anyway just to cover all of our bases. So we'll do that now. I hope you guys are enjoying these daily videos. I am working overtime this week, 60 hours. I'm also I'm also doing school full time this week. And my capstone is this week. And it's due tomorrow. And we have no idea what we're doing. And I'm gonna cry. So I'm taking my stress out on malware. If we go ahead and open System Informer really quick, we can just full screen this. It should open relatively quickly. I didn't see anything that would indicate a delayed start. Okay. The code execution cannot proceed because ffmpeg.dll was not found. Reinstalling the program may fix this problem. And it did it again. And the malware failed to restart? Now that's odd. Because if you paid attention to when we were scrolling through Process Monitor, we saw ffmpeg like a bajillion times. But hey, I guess security through obsolescence. That's not a word. Security through irrelevance? I don't know. I'm just saying stuff at this point. Anyway, that's going to be it for NovaSentinel. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, please make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing if you're new. Let me know in the comment section if there's anything I did not do in this video that you want to see in future ones. My name is Larry Bodenheimer. You guys have been amazing, and I will see you in the next one.